a little bit early. Let's see here. Huh? Okay, can you hear me? Okay, cool. Let's see. I think it takes a second for people to populate. Okay, YouTube's on now too. Cool. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Oh shit, can't say that. Team Korea. What's up, Jesper? Hey, what's up, Steve? Watson Martial Arts. Man, we got everyone in here. Okay, well, Apex Predator said, please break down how Felipe Andrews' double sleeve is so potent. Also, how Murgala uses the deep De La Riva when the opponent is downed. Okay. Okay, well, I guess the question of why is Felipe Andrews' double sleeve so potent? That's kind of a broad question, right? It's like, it's not. Sorry, we're trying to get that. Yep. It's not like there's one single thing that makes his double sleeve so effective. He's just really good at the system in general. I would say the strongest thing with his double sleeve is his like hip up triangle. So I can go over that really quick. Let's go over here. Try to make it. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, there we go. All right. There we go. Okay, so with his double sleeve triangle, I think the big thing that a lot of people do wrong when they're doing this, he does it from here a lot. He'll just get both sleeves like this, be it from like Spider, or even sometimes he'll set it up from like sitting up here like this, right? Like so the mash, we're in the grip start, and I get both sleeves like this. And from here, often when we fall back, the guy's not quite ready for the attack. But if I just have both sleeves here, and he has this open, it's very easy to hip up and just I catch my weight with my legs like this, right? So if I'm here like that, I catch my weight with my legs, and then I can push across and hit the triangle, right? That's the one he hit Keenan with. He also does it on both sides. That's one of my favorites because if I'm here, let's turn to the other side, right? If I'm here, right, and the guy's leading with that right leg, lead with the right leg a little bit, right? So it's like I'm just exaggerated, perfect, right? So sometimes getting that triangle can be hard because its elbow and knee is tight. But if I'm here and I can get inside here and switch side, then usually this back side is open here, and then you can hit that one. So that's actually the one you hit Keenan with. So he's just really good at that. He'll do it sometimes with a lapel too. Like I posted this the other day. Like maybe if I'm here and I have a lasso and the guy starts looping this one out, right here, if my leg is past the body here, you can just pull up and do that. So in general, he's just really dangerous with that fast shot triangle. He almost caught Leandro Low with it too at Worlds last year. As far as Murgali goes on doing the deep lace from one knee up, let's do it on this side. For doing the deep lace from one knee up, and the focus keeps getting off. There we go. Okay. So like if I have like this, or I was doing collar sleeve here like this, a lot of times when you want to go for this guy's like kind of leg is tight here, so kind of get that tight, So it's hard there. So what I've seen him do a lot is he gets this cross sleeve and peels this heel out like that, and that opens that space up. So because when they're on their toe like that, it's hard to get inside this gap. But also it's easy to catch this heel. So if I peel that out and can get in here, now I can extend and start getting over that knee line and go from there. If you saw my last deep lace cross sleeve video, I really focused a lot on getting over that knee line. And then from here, even if like he drops the knee to the floor, it's very easy to pull in and start chasing the back, right? Oh, okay. Let's see. Hey man, when will you make a reverse De La Riva pass video like you did for De La Riva passes? Waiting that over a year now. Yeah, I can show you. Oh, hey, Atta, what's up, bud? I can show you some reverse De La Riva passes now. As far as like a full system for it, it doesn't have the depth that passing De La Riva does. because like there's so many variations of De La Riva. Like reverse De La Riva, it's not. It's like De La Riva, reverse De La Riva. You would expect them to be like similar levels of complexity, but they're actually way less. There's way more variations of De La Riva than reverse De La Riva, right? But I'll give you a couple loose ideas. All right. So let me adjust this one more time. Okay. So we're here. So there's two main ways I like to deal with the reverse De La Riva. One is more going like a knee cut or half guard going through it. The other one is kind of backing out of it. Let's turn this way a little bit. The other one is more like backing out of it and forcing like a Toriando. So the first thing I do, go ahead and hold the ankle and the cross collar. Right. So I'm here. First thing I do is I always want to control this top leg and try to pull it backwards, right? So I'm either trying to stiff arm it behind me towards the floor, or even if I pull it up this way, I just want to like stretch it this way because it makes it really hard for him to invert underneath. That's like his primary attack with reverse De La Riva, right? So if I'm here and he starts trying to invert, and I'm pulling this back here, and I just keep kind of stepping my left leg back like this, keep trying to invert here, like that, it makes it really hard for him to try to invert, right? Now from here, often they'll try to let go and grab this sleeve to break it. When they do that, I'm going to switch to a club here and go for the pass. That's one. If he doesn't let go of that, right, and he switches to my cross collar and like a stiff arming or something, then I just keep controlling this. And now I'm going to try to pop this leg straight, and I drop my knee in quick. Keep the ankle, right? I pop my leg straight and I drop the knee in here, right? And now once I get this kind of backing out of the way, I go through under his arm and go for this cross collar and start trying to force my way through. Now, a lot of you can get this, but then a lot of times if the guy's flexible, go ahead and hold the ankle, he might try to lasso here or something like this, right? So he starts lassoing or something. Here, I'll just switch up to this pant leg, jam the leg. I'll control the bottom leg here. Turn that way, just there. Right? I'll control the bottom leg like this, and I try to push this out. Now I'm just going to back out here. And now with this kind of positioning, it's just much easier to start trying to go in for Toriando variations and things like that, right? So if I can't force my way through with the knee cut or like the half guard pass, I just try to jam the top leg back out and then go more for Toriando variations. Leandro Lowe used to do this all the time. So I could even be here, or sometimes I could even stiff arm the ribs here, because if I just keep backing up here and he tries to invert, keep trying to invert here. If I just keep backing up like this, it's really hard as I turn my knee out. I push this ankle back up here, right? And then I can start Toriandoing. John, what do you think of catch wrestling? I mean, ultimately, it's just grappling, right? Grappling is grappling. Whether you call it catch wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever. I guess the rule sets that you compete in will make a big difference, right? But if you compete at ADCC, you can use pretty much everything you can use in catch wrestling, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, you can't punch in catch wrestling, right? So, I mean, I think catch wrestling, I haven't studied it extensively, but they probably have some really useful things if you do neck cranks or leg locks and stuff. So, like, I wouldn't think in terms of should you do catch wrestling or jiu-jitsu? It's just grappling. There's a lot of competition in the jiu-jitsu scene, so they tend to use a lot of great things. But they're going to use good things from catch wrestling. They're going to use good things from sambo. They're going to use good things from wrestling, from judo. So it's just grappling in general to me, right? And then there's grappling with a gi and grappling without the gi. Let's see. There was a vice guard question, right? Like the vice guard, do you take concepts from different positions to create your own? Okay, so like creating the vice guard, things like that, it's you can't try to create, it just happens, right? If you're trying to create, I think you're going to really struggle to create. So for me, I'm just always seeking to understand how positions function. So I'm like, okay, you know, this is an interesting position. I saw this guy play. So I start playing with it and seeing how it works for me and seeing what's working. And I start using it. And then, I'll notice patterns. And if something feels good, I might keep playing with it. And I just have a very explorative process when I'm developing. So the vice guard, it wasn't like I set out that day to invent a new guard, right? I was just playing and I ended up in a position and it felt kind of good because I was inverting and then kind of ended up there. And I was like, oh, well, let me keep playing with this. And then I kept specific sparring from there and developed more and more combos and attacks from there. And then it just naturally developed from there. So it's just, if you just seek to understand, first understand what other people have done, and then as you start to understand that, you'll start understanding just from your own experience. You'll naturally start developing, but don't look to create, just try to understand and it'll happen naturally. Just so you guys know, I'm taking questions from YouTube and Instagram at the same time. So if you see me answering questions that you guys do not see, it's because I'm taking it from Instagram or YouTube. I'll try to call out the person asking the question and what platform they're on before taking the question. Does this go up or down? Let's see. Yeah, it goes up. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Besides bolos, what options do you find interesting when you have the De La Hiva leg across the opponent's leg as he backsteps? I'm not sure I understand that. Do you understand that, Daniel? You mean like if the guy backsteps in De La Hiva and instead of boloing, what else would you do? Um, I mean, the bolo, that it depends on how you define berimbolo, but that motion of knocking the guy backwards and like hopping over the knee line is for me the primary thing to do if the guy backsteps, right? If he's going to give me the back, I'm going to take it. If you didn't want to do that, you could use it and try to come up into like an ankle pick rather. That's also a good option. I can show that real quick. So traditionally, the berimbolo, you think of like the actual back take, right? But also it can mean just when I knock you over, try not to hit hard, just so it doesn't fuck up the. Yeah. So traditionally, when I knock the guy over here, like this, that's like what I call a backwards off balance motion. From here, I can berimbolo, but I can also, I could use this to go up here like this, and then try to come up here, come back up. We'll back up a little bit. Sometimes as well, I can knock the guy over here like this. Keep your hip up, like this, right here. And as he comes back up in, come back up in, right? I can use this to like loop this leg underneath and start using it to go to X. But honestly, some kind of attacking the back variation here just feels like the easiest thing to do. So I would either invert here, or I would try to come up like this and start working here. Right? But really, once you do that backwards motion, the back take is just the most natural thing to do. Let's see if we have a concept question for a second. Do you have any series coming out? I'm filming something for Stephen Kesting coming up here soon. Also, I just got my studio set up for filming here, so I'm going to start putting out my own instructionals as well soon. But I'll keep you guys posted. Let's see. I do my collar sleeve on the right side. Okay, so pull the plug is asking, I do my collar sleeve on the right side. Most opponents lead with their right leg to pass. Left leg behind. How can I go to cross guard? I try to, oh man, it keeps updating. I try to butterfly hook the leg to get closer, but I find it dangerous. That's hard for me to visualize. If you could send me a video on Instagram, I'll take a look at it and respond. It's sometimes really hard to visualize through the text. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, stand on the shoulder of giants, so to speak. Yeah, absolutely, Apex. I think in general, when you're developing, you need both creativity, uh, like you're gonna get your like the way I think of it is when I'm trying to develop in a position, my goal is to be in the position and try to perform well, right? So when I'm sparring and a problem pops up, so a position that I don't know what to do in, right? So I'm sparring and then I'm just trying to perceive the position my opponent's in and make the correct choice for that time, right? But sometimes a position will pop up and I'm like, I don't know what to do here. So the question is when, everyone goes through that experience of they roll and they end up in a position and they don't know what to do in that position. So if I end up in a position and I don't know what to do, then I have to figure out a solution. So where are my supposed solutions going to come from? There's only a few possible choices. One choice is asking your coach or asking another good competitor for their perspective what they would do. Another one is watching competition video. So you like watch competition video and see what some other competitor would do in that position. And then the third choice is your own creative thought. So you sit there and you go, what if I could do this? What if I could do that? And you start coming up. You need to utilize all three. In the beginning, often it's way easier to borrow the latter when you're trying to learn jiu-jitsu. There's no sense in reinventing the wheel. If someone already solved it, borrow what they did because it's working And even if you don't end up using it, it's important that you learn why what they're doing is working, right? So I think that's a really good thing. Um, but as you evolve and you learn more about a position, then it becomes easier to, or then it becomes like you get almost diminishing returns by trying to study someone because you understand mostly what they do, but not exactly. And sometimes it's easier to actually develop your own system or your own strategy through the position, right? And then that's where you have to kind of find that balance of finding influence from others, but also developing your own. You need both. Let's see what else we got here. What's up, Danny? Let's see here. You can also find some info on Wolving House, but I recommend John's content over this on at Sonar. Ah, okay, responding to Sonar. Okay. You guys have any conceptual questions? Let's see if we have any questions lower down. What do you do if opponent is aggressively breaking grips? Okay, that's a really good question. Um, so if someone's breaking grips all the time, I mean, it depends. Ultimately, they do have to make grip with you, right? So if you're on your back and you have your feet up and they disengage, they will force them to actually engage you, right? So the thing is, like, the more guards that you know how to play, the easier it is to tie someone up. So, like, let's say that let me use Daniel. So let's say that the only guard that I play, just be right here. Yeah, let's say that the only guard that I play is some kind of I don't know, like sleeve control variation, okay? If that's the case, then as I'm engaging with him, just kind of keep your hands back or be fast with him, right? So like you kind of every time I go for it, you pull it away, right? So he's just kind of being difficult. It's really hard. But if I have a collar guard, now I could grab here and I could like collar drag, I could ankle pick, I could use this to jump to De La Hiva or something like that, right? Now it's easier to entangle him, right? Okay, so like let's say that my only game is like collar guard or ankle control games. I may grab the collar and he's breaking this super fast all the time, right? So then as soon as I go to break it, I know he's going to do that, so I use that to get the sleeve. Now if I have a sleeve control game, it's way easier to control him there, right? If I go to my back, he actually has to engage me. They'll call him for a penalty if he doesn't. So if I'm here and I only have a sleeve control game, and again he's being difficult, then I can't get a grip. But if he stands close, I can grab the ankle. If I only have ankle control, he's keeping the legs back and leading with the hands, then it's easier to get this, right? So the more grips that you have, the more guards you know how to play, the easier it is to start to entangle the guy, right? So even if you haven't mastered those guards, if you at least have a couple guards, you can use those to get your initial entanglement and then try to transition from that initial entanglement into a different guard, if that makes sense, right? Um, it's a broad topic. Actually, that's something I want to do a instructional series on at some point. Is because a lot of people they just get so focused on the guards themselves. There's this like battle in the positions between the positions where you're like trying to establish. So I do a lot of specific sparring where I start with no grips, and then my job is to try to entangle the opponent. Their job is to try to pass or get to a dominant passing position. Once that happens, we stop and go back. So I hyper train that like really niche, like specific sparring like skill set, right? Man, yeah, there we go. Can you explain why in the Berimbolo more competitors use the knee behind the leg rather than the shin across the belly? Knee behind the leg rather than the shin across the belly. I know how I like to do it. Honestly, I would ask Daniel, Myra, and Nick Sal's more the Berimbolo questions like that. I would really need to see exactly what you're talking about, but their knowledge on the in-depth different bolo styles, I think, is a better question for them. Let's see. We released a grappler's guide instruction on the Vice Guard, John. Yeah, my plan was to do that actually right before the pandemic. I was about to go there to film. I had to wait on my work permit in Sweden to get approved, which it just got approved. So now I'm free to travel. Unfortunately, the entire world shut down, so now I can't travel. Yeah, I'll get back in contact with Jason and see when we're gonna try to do that. You know, a lot of it depends on the traveling and stuff. Of course, I have the filming here, so maybe I could set it up to film here, but hopefully sometime soon. Let's see here. Um, any solutions to pass the inverted guard or jump straight to the back? Okay. So Tan Kenneth said, "Hi John, any solutions to pass the inverted guard or jump straight to the back?" Yeah. So the inverted guard, like in the manner of like just inverting and staying there, that I think was way more popular like 2008-ish or something, but I think it's a very dangerous thing to do nowadays with the way people pass. You can't stay in that verted position long. So yeah, I have a lot of options from there I can go ahead and show. Let me adjust this real quick. All right, we'll try there. All right, so let's presume, you'll be right here. Yeah, so let's presume that, go ahead and go inverted here. Yeah, the guy's like kind of approaching you this way. I mean, one easy thing, anytime the guy does this, this is really bad for him, right? I could just grab the ankles and step in with the knee and control here. If I can pin the crook of his knee with my knee, I'll mirror it on the other side. If I can get my like knee on the crook of his knee and grab this hip line, the best is if I can get this high back grip. It's really hard for him at that point, right? If I can come here and get this high back grip, I can actually lift him up off the floor and pull across, go across and go for the leg drag. That's super easy to get to if they stay in this position here like this. Also, sometimes I'll grab what I call like inverted Toriando grips, and I can kind of spin side to side. I pick a side, and when I go to one side, like this one, I go here and I kind of press it upward to open that elbow space, and I try to come in towards knee on belly. That's a really fast variation you can do. Also, I could pin here, switch to the knee, and come here, and now I end up with this more classic both hands pinning situation. Another one I really like here is I switch this left hand to catch the thigh, and I lift it up, and now I'm going to pull across to this pant grip. This is what Lowe passed Keenan with at Pans last year, I think. Maybe it was the year before that. Once I get this grip, I just shug, come through with my right arm, and drop there. All three of those are great options, but I mean, it's really hard for the guy to shoot a triangle on you in that situation. If you know it's coming, it's very easy to avoid that. Let's see. Thanks, Polo Plug. Yeah, I think it's important when you're teaching techniques, you know, like it needs to be, you need context, but also not too much. Like sometimes if you go 30 minutes on one topic, if you go really deep, but you don't have, like, it's more important to me to have a loose, broad, general overview than a very deep one technique, right? It's like me trying to tell you the storyline of Game of Thrones or something. I could either give you the broad overview of the whole thing, or I could go into like, you know, the 3-hour lore of one character. But like if I give you one character, you don't understand the context of the story. It's way easier to give a broad general context. If I give you a broad general context, then you kind of like certain things will naturally make sense to you, other things won't, and then you'll kind of figure that out over time. And of course, an instructional helps because it can go in depth on each technique. But it's more important to get broad overviews than it is mega deep on one thing, because you can go mega deep on one thing, but then the guy has a different response, and that just neutralizes any of your other options. Let's see here. Can you show some attacks from the Keymaster? Okay, sure. Like first off, I think defining the Keymaster is important. So I would say the Keymaster guard, the Keymaster hook versus the Keymaster guard is very similar to how I would define like a De La Riva hook and the De La Riva guard. So like what I mean by that, let's look over here. Boom. Okay. So again, focusing on understanding, yeah, there we go. We'll have you on this side. Okay, so again, focusing on more of a broad understanding rather than just the technique. What is a Keymaster hook, right? So a Keymaster hook is basically, let's start with like collar sleeve, and I have my right foot on the hip. If his left leg is straight as a board, there can be no Keymaster hook. The Keymaster hook usually happens when he bends this knee slightly, usually to defend an omoplata. So like the more his knee is bent and his elbow is tight, the harder it is to get through on an omoplata here. So as my knee angles towards the floor, go ahead and lift your arm up so they can see, this foot kind of like shelves on his thigh. That's a Keymaster hook, okay? So now the reason I use the analogy of De La Riva guard and a De La Riva hook, usually when you say De La Riva guard, what we mean is you're holding the ankle, right? But in actuality, I don't have to have a De La Riva hook when I'm in the De La Riva guard. I can have a De La Riva hook with collar sleeve, with cross sleeve, with double sleeve. That's a De La Riva hook. Likewise, with a Keymaster hook, I can have a Keymaster hook with collar sleeve. I could have it with collar pant leg. I could have it with cross sleeve and an underhook. This is just a Keymaster hook, right? So Keymaster guard to me is more like just the general use of the Keymaster hook, but usually it's somewhere in between collar sleeve and collar ankle. Try to back this leg up just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we're like this, right? So often, like if I'm here and I'm pushing on the hip and he pulls his elbow super tight, so go this way just a little bit, right? So if I'm here and I'm like trying to attack with like omoplatas and triangles from collar sleeve and I have the foot on the hip and he pulls his elbow tight, so I feel like it's hard to get through. From here, pulling down with that Keymaster hook and dipping my knee underneath makes it really easy to pull him forward. Once I get under here, there's a lot of things I could do. I could shoot into a triangle here. I could pull him forward here, and now I could start attacking to chase the ankle lock here, like this. There's a lot of variations will start to open. The big thing is just learning to get underneath with that hook, right? If I was here like this and he pulled the elbow tight here too, I could grab this pant leg or the ankle, right? And I could pull here like this, and I could use this to start switching over for a matrix, right? But I think if you're looking for an intro to the Keymaster guard, I would just start with trying to use, yeah, I'm talking about the guard with the knee grip like Langeker uses it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, where you have the collar and the pant, right? But the Keymaster hook, like, is where you have the foot on the thigh, right? And then like the pant grip and the sleeve grip will be fast transitioning, right? So I'll show you something with like the pant grip, right? But you have to understand these two positions, they connect together. It's not like you can't step into the match and be like, I'm going to do this Keymaster position, because he may position himself that you need the sleeve instead of the pant leg. So it's kind of a complicated system because it's based off of two grips. It's not one singular grip, right? So let's say that I like to play collar sleeve with my right hand on the sleeve, right? So I'm here like this, and like I'm fighting like Tommy, so I generally don't grab this in the beginning. So I'm here like this, but he's hiding that, so I can't get it. So when I can't get it, if I get this pant leg here, like this, and I jam pass here, lead with your right leg, right? And I jam pass like this, right? And I'm like knee shielding here and stuff, like this. Here, he can't progress this way with a knee cut pass until he pushes this leg down. Maybe drop to your knee. Yeah, like this, right? So if I'm controlling here like this, I could try to shoot a triangle here and do stuff like this until he pushes this leg in between. It's really hard for him. So when I'm holding here, he can't step that leg back, so he's going to start messing with this. That's going to give me the sleeve, or sometimes even the tricep, and I can use this to threaten the triangle. If I stay here, have your arm up, or like grab the lapel, right? Like this. Here, sometimes I can use this here like this to push and start pulling up here and start switching up to matrices and stuff. But I think the important thing to understand is that you need to find how to, you need to understand how to connect the sleeve grip and the far pant grip, right? Because it's not just Keymaster guard, it's collar sleeve and collar pant and the Keymaster hook. So that is a bit of a complex system because it's not just one, you have to intermix them all. Yeah, there we go. It's good. Cool. All right, guys. Any other conceptual questions? Oh, how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu, John? I've been training like 17 years now. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes my headset just turns off like after 30 minutes. I have no idea why, so I just turn it off and turn it back on. Hmm. Wonder, is it still going, guys? See it? I wonder why that is. Are you on Instagram or YouTube? Man, I'm so sick of dealing with like tech shit. I'm still live on YouTube. All right, well, all right, YouTube crew, I'm still with you guys. I don't know what happened to Instagram. Okay, Instagram might have auto shut off. Uh, okay, can you go over what to do when a standing opponent steps in between your legs and almost knee slides over you, pinning you down while you're in seated guard? Let's see. Can you go over what to do when a standing opponent steps in between your legs and almost knee slides over you, pinning you down while you're in seated guard? Okay, by seated guard, do you mean like a single leg guard, or do you mean like you're sitting up, there's no grips, and you kind of have your hands forward? Talking to Hassan Ali. Are you referring to like I'm sitting up like grip fighting like this and he steps in? Or are you saying like you have like a single leg grip on his leg? Man, IG's feed is so unreliable. Sitting up playing open guard. Okay. So, well, now we only have to worry about the YouTube screen, so that's easier. All right. Okay, so the big thing with your situation is that in general, when I'm up here, my job is, it depends on what guard you like to play or what guards